What if I told you that the feeling that something is missing in your life isn't just your imagination? That emptiness, that sense that you're stuck in a repeating cycle, it's not a mistake, it's a calling. This message didn't reach you by chance. It was sent thousands of years ago by Thoth, the master of wisdom, and it only finds those who are vibrating at the frequency of change. If you're hearing me now, it's because you're ready. The truth they hid from you is that your reality is shaped by a vibration. Your thoughts, your feelings, they all emit a signal. And if you're sending out the wrong signal, the universe gives you chaos. But if you learn to vibrate correctly, everything changes. Instantly. In this video, I'm going to give you the key that Thoth left behind. It's not a theory. It's an instruction manual to recalibrate your energy and force reality to align with what you desire. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn in the next few minutes can rewrite the rest of your life. If you felt the calling, comment. The message found me. The reason this knowledge was suppressed takes us back in time, to a land of sand and mystery, on the banks of the Nile. Thousands of years ago, a legendary figure walked among men, a being of such vast wisdom that he was called the scribe of the gods. In Egypt, he was known as Thoth. To the Greeks, who drank from his well of knowledge, he was Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great. He wasn't just a myth made to entertain the masses. He was a master of the invisible laws, an engineer of reality who understood the physics of consciousness and the power of vibration. The walls of the great temples of Karnak and Luxor, which today tourists photograph as mere ruins, were far more than art. The complex hieroglyphs and the perfectly aligned sacred geometries weren't decoration. They were diagrams of a lost science, instruction manuals for the soul. They were maps of frequencies, blueprints of how sound, light, and intention could be used to alter matter and expand consciousness. The elite priests, the true guardians of knowledge, knew they weren't dealing with superstition, but with vibrational technology. They knew that specific sounds, chanted in resonance chambers built with mathematical precision, could heal the physical body from diseases. They understood that certain words of power, the hekau, weren't just prayers, but vibrational passwords capable of opening interdimensional portals or influencing the minds of others. They weren't praying to distant gods in the sky, waiting for intervention. They were activating energetic codes within themselves and in the environment around them, aligning human vibration with the mind of the cosmos, with universal intelligence. That was the true magic of Egypt, the practical application of vibrational science. They saw the human body as an instrument that could be tuned. Diseases were seen as dissonance, a note out of tune in the symphony of being. Healing, therefore, wasn't about attacking the symptom, but about reintroducing the correct frequency into the person's energy field, allowing the body to rebalance itself. It was a medicine of energy, an approach our modern science is only just beginning to rediscover, timidly, through quantum physics. But why hide such deep knowledge? Because the power to manipulate reality is a double-edged sword. In the hands of elevated consciousness, it can create paradises. In the hands of ego, greed, and the desire for control, it can create prisons. The priests knew that humanity, for the most part, wasn't ready. To give this technology openly would be like handing a nuclear weapon to a child. That's why the knowledge was veiled in symbols, myths, and allegories, accessible only to those who went through rigorous initiations and proved they had the spiritual maturity to use it wisely. The greatest of all secrets, however, wasn't locked in a sarcophagus or buried beneath a pyramid. It was hidden in plain sight, in a principle so fundamental that it became invisible. It was a secret about the very nature of life, about the force that animates the universe and flows through everything that exists. They understood that this force wasn't random, but that it operated according to precise laws. And the main one of these laws was that everything, absolutely everything, is in a perpetual state of motion, a silent dance of energy. This secret, hidden in plain sight by the Egyptian masters, is that everything that exists, without exception, is in a constant state of vibration. Nothing is ever truly still, never. The hardest rock, the oldest mountain, the chair you're sitting on, they all seem motionless and solid to your limited senses. But if you could look through a powerful enough microscope, you'd see a swarm of dancing atoms, a whirlwind of energy vibrating at unimaginable speed. What you perceive as solid matter is actually energy vibrating at a slower and denser frequency, nothing more. Think about that for a moment. The colors your eyes see are just different frequencies of light being interpreted by your brain. The sound your ears pick up is just air vibrations hitting your eardrums. Even smells and tastes are molecules vibrating and fitting into receptors in your nose and tongue. You live immersed in an ocean of vibrations, and your senses are just decoders, translating a small slice of that infinite spectrum into your perception. You don't experience reality directly. You experience your interpretation of reality's vibrations. This universal energy, this force that animates all things, has been given many names throughout history. Some traditions call it God, others call it prana, chi, life force, or simply the source. The name doesn't matter. What matters is the understanding that it's the same cosmic electricity that flows through a distant galaxy, that makes a flower bloom, and that pulses in every cell of your body at this very moment. There is no separation. You are not in the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as a human being for a brief moment in time. When you truly understand this, your perspective on life changes forever. Problems that once seemed like mountains become tiny grains of sand. The fear of death loses its power, because you understand that energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. You realize that if everything is a grand cosmic symphony, you're not just a passive listener in the audience. You're a musician in the orchestra, and your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are the notes you play. Your life, right now, is the melody you are contributing to the great song. And here's the crucial point. You have the power to change your melody. Most people keep playing the same notes over and over, stuck in a learned pattern, unaware that they can choose different ones. They play the music of sadness, of anger, of frustration, and wonder why life is so hard. They don't realize that the universe, like a perfect conductor, is simply orchestrating reality to match the music they themselves are playing. If you want a different life, you need to play a different song. You need to change your vibration. This idea is even found in the science of sound. Music tuned to the frequency of 432 Hz, for example, is known for its calming and healing effects. Why? Because this frequency resonates harmonically with the mathematical patterns found in nature, in the geometry of plants, in the golden ratio, in the movements of planets. It tunes us back into the harmony of the cosmos. This proves that certain frequencies have a direct and measurable effect on our physical and emotional state. We are resonant beings. But to change your melody, to become a master of your own vibration, you first need to understand the nature of the instrument you're playing. And that instrument isn't something outside of you. It's not a violin or a piano. The most sophisticated and powerful instrument that exists, capable of playing any melody and creating any reality, is your own body. And modern science, as it dives into the quantum world, is about to reveal something about your physical nature that will shake you to your core. Now get ready. Because what I'm about to say may challenge everything you've learned about yourself and the world. Your body, which seems so solid, only so real, so dense, is actually a grand illusion. If we could take your body and place it under the most powerful quantum microscope, we would see that your organs are made of cells, which in turn are made of molecules, which are made of atoms. And this is where reality as we know it begins to dissolve. An atom is not a tiny solid marble, as we were taught in school. An atom is made up of a tiny nucleus and electrons orbiting around it. But the distance between the nucleus and the electrons is astronomically vast. If the nucleus of an atom were the size of a basketball in the center of a football stadium, the electrons would be like specks of dust spinning around in the highest seats. Everything else, all that massive space inside the stadium, would be empty. Applying this proportion to your body, science says that you are, physically, more than 99.9999% empty space. You are less matter and more void. Think about what that means. You are not a thing. You are a pattern of energy, a vibrational frequency resonating in this vast, empty space. The solidity you feel is an illusion created by the speed at which these energy particles vibrate and the electromagnetic force that prevents them from passing through one another. You are like a hologram, a projection of light and information that appears three-dimensional and solid, but whose essence is pure energy. This revelation is not philosophy or spirituality. It's fundamental quantum physics. And why is this the key to everything? Because if you're not a fixed physical structure, but rather a field of fluid and receptive energy, it means you are not a victim of circumstances. You are not stuck with your genetics or a predetermined fate. You are a highly influenceable energy field, constantly being shaped by the vibrations around you and, more importantly, by the vibrations you generate within yourself. You are like a tuning fork, an instrument designed to resonate with the frequencies it comes into contact with. If you surround yourself with negative people, fear-based news, and low vibration environments, your energy field, like a tuning fork, will start vibrating at that same dissonant frequency. The result? You'll feel tired, anxious, sick, and hopeless. On the other hand, if you expose yourself to vibrations of joy, gratitude, love, and beauty, your energy field will tune itself to those higher frequencies. You'll start resonating with health, vitality, clarity, and abundance. The choice of what you align with is yours, at every moment. Most people, however, let their instrument be tuned by the outside world, randomly and unconsciously. They're bombarded by frequencies of fear from the media, the vibration of stress from work, the dissonance of toxic relationships. They become a reflection of the chaos around them, without realizing they have the power to generate their own note, their own frequency, from the inside out. They've forgotten that they are the musician, not just the instrument. So the big question that emerges from this shocking truth is, who or what is tuning you right now? Is it your own conscious thoughts and deliberate choices? Or is it unconscious programs, the news, other people's opinions, and the collective fears of society? The answer to this question defines the quality of your life. Because the frequency you hold most dominantly is constantly emitting a signal, an energetic signature that defines who you are to the universe. And that signature has a name. The question of who is tuning you leads us directly to a concept mystics have known for centuries: the aura. And no, this isn't some esoteric fantasy. It's a biophysical fact. Your body, being a field of vibrational energy, is constantly emitting an electromagnetic field that extends beyond your skin. This field, which can be measured with sensitive scientific instruments, is your personal energy signature. your vibrational fingerprint in the universe. It contains information about your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual state. This energy field is the direct and instant reflection of your internal vibration. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, alters the frequency and color of this field. When you feel love or gratitude, your aura expands, becomes brighter, and your frequency rises. When you feel fear, anger, or resentment, your aura contracts, darkens, and your frequency drops drastically. It's a precise barometer of your state of being, visible to those who have trained their perception to see it. But even if you don't see auras, you definitely feel them. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt heavy and drained, with no obvious reason? Or met someone and instantly felt a connection, a sense of lightness and well-being? What you were feeling was the resonance or dissonance between your energy field and that of the environment or the other person. You have a sixth sense, an intuitive ability to read vibration. It's a survival mechanism that tells you what is safe and aligned with you, and what isn't. Your 5 physical senses are actually frequency decoders. Your eyes don't see the world. They detect a narrow band of electromagnetic vibrations, light, and the brain translates that into images. Your ears pick up vibrations in the air and turn them into sound. Your sense of touch feels the dense vibration of matter. But your perception isn't limited to that. Your energetic signature, your aura, is constantly interacting with the energy field of everything around you, exchanging information on a subconscious, silent level. That's why your personal vibration is so crucial. It's not just an internal state. It's an active force field that determines what can and can't enter your reality. According to the law of resonance, only what vibrates at a frequency similar to yours can manifest in your life. If your energetic signature is one of scarcity and victimhood, you become a magnet for experiences of loss and injustice. If your signature is one of self-confidence and worthiness, doors of opportunity begin to open where before there were only walls. You are, right now, transmitting a signal to the universe. That signal tells the universe who you are and what you expect from life. And the universe, like a perfect mirror, simply reflects more of the same back to you. The question is, are you aware of the signal you're sending? Are you transmitting the frequency of the life you want to live? Or are you repeating the frequency of the life you've always had? Most people have no clue, because the control of that signal lies in a tool they use all day long, but have never learned to master. The tool that controls your energetic signature, that tunes your instrument, and that dictates the signal you send to the universe is your thoughts. And here's the truth that's been hidden from you. Your thoughts are not private, abstract, harmless events happening inside your head. They are pulses of electrical and magnetic energy. They are literally things. Every thought you generate has a specific and measurable frequency. And that frequency doesn't stay trapped in your skull. It radiates from you, interacting with the quantum field. Imagine each thought as a tiny magnet you throw out into the universe. A thought of gratitude is a magnet that attracts more reasons to be grateful. A thought of worry is a magnet that attracts exactly what you're worried about. The universe doesn't judge your thoughts as good or bad. It simply responds to the frequency you emit. It is an impersonal response mechanism. It reads your vibration and delivers experiences that match it. It's the law of correspondence in its purest form. The ancient Chinese sage Lao Tzu perfectly described this physics of manifestation over 2,500 years ago. He said, "Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny." He wasn't giving moral advice. He was describing a process, a sequence of cause and effect that begins with the invisible energy of a single thought. You are the architect of your reality, and your thoughts are the blueprint. Every image you hold in your mind, every inner dialogue you repeat day after day, is actively constructing the structure of your future life. If you constantly visualize failure, rejection, and hardship, you're actually rehearsing that reality, making it more likely to manifest. If you train your mind to focus on solutions, possibilities, and success, you're paving the neural and energetic path for that reality to come true. But if it's that simple, why do most people live a life they didn't choose? Why is it so hard to maintain positive thinking? The answer lies in a hidden force operating behind your conscious thoughts. The mind you're using to read these words is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, there's an immense power, a deep programming that controls 95% of your actions, decisions, and therefore your vibration, your subconscious mind. Your subconscious is like a plane's autopilot. It was programmed during your early years with the beliefs, fears, and perceptions of the people around you. If you grew up in an environment of scarcity, your subconscious was programmed with the belief that money is hard to get. You might try to think positively about wealth, but your autopilot, that hidden force, will keep steering you away from it because your core program is rooted in lack. You're pressing the gas with one foot and the brake with the other. That's why effort and willpower often fail. Trying to change your life with just positive thinking without reprogramming the subconscious is like trying to change the movie on a projector by messing with the screen. Real change has to happen at the source, in the film being projected. And that film is made not just of thoughts, but of something much more powerful. The true language of the universe, the force that gives power and direction to every thought you have. Now we've reached the core point. The secret Thoth and the great masters wanted you to understand so you could finally take the reins of your reality. Your thoughts are the blueprint, but they need energy to become a building, and that energy doesn't come from the intellect. It comes from something much deeper. Every word you speak, hear, or think carries a specific vibrational frequency. The word love, for example, has been measured in laboratories and vibrates at a very high frequency, while the word fear vibrates at a slow, dense, low frequency. Sacred names, like the name of God in various traditions, or mantras like Om, weren't created by chance. They were designed by vibration masters to produce the highest energetic frequency possible in human consciousness. Repeating these words is like striking a divine tuning fork that elevates your entire energy field. Words have power. They are spells you cast on yourself and the world with every sentence you speak. You are literally enchanting your reality to be a certain way. But words, as powerful as they are just the trigger. They're like the key in a car's ignition. The real fuel, the force that actually moves the engine of creation, is your emotion. The combination of a thought, a word or mental image, with a feeling and emotion creates a powerful electromagnetic charge. The thought gives the electric charge, the information, the what. The emotion gives the magnetic charge, the attraction, the power. Together, they create a strong signal that the quantum field can't ignore. That's why the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you feel. You could spend the whole day repeating, "I want to be rich," but if the emotion you feel when you think about money is anxiety, fear, or tightness, the dominant frequency you're emitting is one of lack. And the universe, faithfully, will bring you more experiences that generate anxiety and lack of money. It's not what you say. It's the vibration behind what you say. It's the feeling that is your true prayer. when you finally align your thoughts, and more importantly, your emotions, with the higher frequencies of love, gratitude, joy, and peace, something extraordinary happens. You're no longer just thinking positively on the surface. You become a living magnet for a new reality. You start to embody the frequency of your desire. You stop wanting love and start being love. You stop chasing abundance and start feeling abundant now, even before any external evidence shows up. This is the code that Thoth hid. The alchemy of the soul is not about turning lead into gold in the outer world. It's about transforming the dense emotion of fear, lead, into the elevated emotion of love, gold, within you. When you make this inner transmutation, the outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself to reflect this new chemistry. You become the cause, and reality becomes the effect. You stop reacting to the world and start creating the world from within. Now that you know this, now that the key has been placed in your hands, you can no longer claim ignorance. You understand that the combination of your thoughts and feelings is the most powerful creation tool in the universe. You are constantly shaping your reality with this tool, whether you're aware of it or not. And with this awareness comes great responsibility. The next step, therefore, is to understand and master the universal law that governs this entire process, the exact mechanics of how your internal vibrations become your external experiences. Now that you understand that the combination of your thoughts and emotions creates an electromagnetic signal, we need to talk about the law that governs that signal. The universe operates under a fundamental, relentless, and completely impersonal principle, the law of resonance, commonly known as the law of attraction, but taught in an incomplete way. The truth is simpler and more direct, like attracts like. This isn't a mystical belief or a feel-good wish. It's physics. Energy can only connect with energy of the same frequency. A tuning fork vibrating in the note C will only make another C tuning fork vibrate, never a G. Your life works the exact same way, with no exceptions. If you vibrate at a frequency of lack, constantly focusing on your debts, on what's missing, on the fear of not having enough, the universe doesn't judge you. It doesn't punish you. It simply, like a perfect mirror, reflects that vibration back to you, delivering more circumstances that generate the feeling of lack. On the other hand, if you can cultivate the vibration of joy and gratitude for something, feeling as if it's already real, even before it physically manifests, the universe has no other choice. It has to reorganize matter, people, and events to match the new frequency you're emitting. That's why self-awareness becomes the most critical skill any human being can develop. At every moment, you're sending out a signal. There are no pauses. There's no off switch. Your vibration is your constant communication with the quantum field. You're always in a state of attraction. The question is, attraction to what? Are you aware of the signal you're transmitting right now as you read these words? What is the dominant emotion pulsing in your chest? That emotion is your true point of attraction, your order to the universe. And here's the fatal mistake that 99% of people make. The reason they try and fail miserably to change their lives. They try to think positively with a conscious mind, while their bodies, their subconscious, are chemically addicted to feeling negative emotions. The body gets used to the daily doses of cortisol from stress, the adrenaline from anxiety, the chemistry of victimhood. It becomes addicted to low frequency. So you say, I am rich, I am prosperous, but your body feels the tightness of worry in your chest, the knot in your throat from fear. This internal conflict creates a chaotic and contradictory signal. It's like trying to tune into two radio stations at once. The result is just noise, static. The conscious mind says one thing, but the body, which is the real emotional antenna, screams another. And which signal do you think the universe picks up more clearly? The whisper of your thought or the scream of your emotion? Your real vibration is the sum total of your being, and if there's conflict, the signal gets cancelled out. Manifestation doesn't happen because you're not in vibrational alignment, but there's an even deeper obstacle, a sabotage that operates on a level below even the addicted emotions. It's a fundamental duality that lives inside every human being, a silent civil war that consumes your creative energy and keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage. It's the battle between what you consciously want and the programs that are secretly running in your internal operating system. The sleeping creator who, until now, has been calling the shots in your life without your knowledge. To truly master the law of resonance, it's not enough to just manage your emotions. You need to go down into the engine room of your consciousness and confront the programmer. You need to awaken the creator living inside you who has been running on autopilot, recreating the same reality over and over again. And to do that, you need to understand that consciousness is much more than just observing your thoughts. It's the act of becoming the director of your own life, instead of a mere actor reading an old script. This duality, this internal conflict that cancels out your power, leads us to a deeper truth. Being conscious isn't just a passive act of watching your thoughts like clouds in the sky. That's the first step, but it's not the whole journey. True consciousness is the act of becoming the deliberate creator of your reality. It's taking the wheel of your subconscious and starting to drive toward where you actually want to go, instead of letting it take you to the same places as always. Buddha taught that every thought arising in the mind begins to flow as a sensation in the body, proving the inseparable and instant connection between mind and matter. Tools like positive affirmations, vision boards, and daily gratitude practice are incredibly powerful, but most people use them the wrong way. They are not the end goal. They are not the magic. They are training tools. They're like weights at the gym for your consciousness. They serve a bigger and much more important purpose: reprogramming your internal operating system, your subconscious. It's there, deep in your psyche, where your most deeply rooted beliefs, your most primal fears, and your automatic behavior patterns reside. It's in the subconscious where the real game is played. You can spend all day affirming, "I am confident and capable." But if your subconscious program, written in childhood by a criticism or a failure, is running the script, "I'm not good enough," which program do you think will win at the end of the day? The whisper of your affirmation or the roar of your core belief? The subconscious controls 95% of your behavior. Fighting it with the willpower of the conscious mind is a losing battle. You don't fight the program, you rewrite it. The ancient philosophers and spiritual masters knew this perfectly. They understood that creating reality wasn't a process of layering positivity on top of a rotten foundation. It was a process of excavation. It was about going down into the basement of your own mind and facing what's there. Their deepest and most esoteric teachings weren't about how to create good, light, and love. They were about how to understand, confront, and integrate the evil, the darkness, and the fear that exists inside each of us. They knew that light can only truly shine when the darkness is acknowledged and understood. This is the missing piece in the manifestation puzzle for most people. They try to build a dream castle on a swamp of unresolved trauma and limiting beliefs. They try to paint a wall white without cleaning off the mold first. The result is always the same. The old rotting structure eventually surfaces and brings everything down. True transformation isn't about adding. It's about subtracting. It's about removing the blocks, the programs, and the beliefs that keep you from vibrating in your natural frequency, which is pure abundance, joy, and love. You don't need to learn how to be abundant. Abundance is the natural state of the universe. You need to unlearn scarcity. You don't need to try to be happy. Joy is your essence. You need to stop feeding the thought and emotional patterns that generate suffering. The creator within you isn't broken. It doesn't need fixing. It's just asleep, buried under layers of social conditioning, inherited fears, and personal trauma. The work isn't to build a new creator, but to awaken the one that's already there. And the awakening of that creator begins with an act of immense courage. The willingness to look at the parts of yourself you fear the most. The willingness to stop running from your own shadow and instead turn and face it head on. Because it's in the darkness that the keys to your light are found. It's in the integration of this internal duality, in this sacred dance between light and shadow, that true vibrational mastery is achieved, and the power to create worlds is finally unlocked. Within each of us, without exception, there is a constant battle, a universe of forces in perpetual interaction. The Greek philosopher Plato, in his wisdom, described this as the struggle between the three parts of the soul: reason, our logic; spirit, our will and courage; and appetite, our basic desires and fears. It's from this tension, this silent civil war, that all the complexity and drama of the human experience is born. You feel this battle every day? The part of you that wants to be healthy versus the part that craves the food that harms you. The part that wants to be productive versus the part that longs to procrastinate. Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, diving even deeper into this concept, called this repressed part the shadow. The shadow is the basement of our psyche. It's where we throw all the parts of ourselves we consider unacceptable, ugly, or scary. Our anger, our envy, our greed, our vulnerability. Society teaches us from a young age to repress these qualities, to pretend they don't exist, to wear a mask of perfection. But repression isn't resolution. Energy cannot be destroyed. The energy you repress into the shadow doesn't disappear. It rots, becomes toxic, and begins to control your life behind the scenes. True vibrational mastery, the secret of the great soul alchemists, is not about trying to be light all the time and denying the darkness. That's a recipe for disaster. It's a war you will never win. Trying to be only positive is like trying to live in a world where there's only day and no night, where there's only inhaling and no exhaling. It's impossible, and it creates such massive internal pressure that eventually the shadow explodes in destructive ways, in outbursts of rage, in psychosomatic illnesses, in acts of self-sabotage that seem to come out of nowhere. True alchemy, the transformation of lead into gold, is recognizing, accepting, and integrating your shadow. It's having the courage to go down into your own basement with a flashlight in hand and look at what's there without judgment. It's understanding that anger, fear, and sadness are not your enemies. They're messengers. They're wounded parts of you that are screaming for attention. They're pure energy that was misdirected or repressed. Anger, for example, is the energy of protection and change. Fear is the energy of caution and awareness. When you deny them, you lose the power they contain. When you learn to face these parts of yourself with compassion, you stop fighting against yourself. You stop wasting an immense amount of energy keeping the lid on your basement shut. You turn to the monster in your shadow and ask, "What are you trying to tell me? What do you need?" In doing so, you take away the power the shadow had over you. You bring it into the light of your awareness, and the energy that was trapped in repression is released and reintegrated back into your being, making you more whole, more authentic, and far more powerful. It is in this dynamic balance, this sacred dance between light and shadow, that true transformation happens. You don't become perfect, you become whole. and a whole human being is infinitely more powerful than one who pretends to be perfect. When you stop fighting yourself, all the energy that was being spent on internal conflict becomes available for creating your external reality. Your vibration becomes clear, coherent, and incredibly potent because there's no more static coming from your own civil war. And it's only from this place of integration and wholeness that the ancient practices of vibrational elevation become exponentially more powerful. Using those tools without first doing the shadow work is like trying to build a roof on a house with no walls. The tools have nothing to rest on. But when the foundation of self-acceptance is set, these ancient soul technologies become the keys that can tune your being to resonate with the highest potentials of the universe. Now that you understand the crucial importance of integrating your shadow and reaching a state of internal balance, the ancient tools of vibrational elevation take on a completely new meaning and overwhelming power. They stop being feel-good escape techniques and become precision instruments for tuning your soul. Meditation, for example, practiced for millennia in all great traditions, is no longer about emptying the mind or fighting thoughts. That's a Western misconception. True meditation is about creating an internal space of silence so your consciousness can observe, without judgment, everything that arises, thoughts, emotions, sensations, and even the whispers of your shadow. In this space of neutral observation, you stop identifying with the drama of your mind. You realize that you are not your anger. You are the awareness observing the anger. You are not your anxiety. You are the space in which the anxiety happens. This disidentification is the ultimate act of freedom. It's what allows you to integrate the energies of the shadow without being consumed by them. Meditation becomes your daily practice of polishing the mirror of your consciousness so it can reflect reality clearly, instead of distorting it through the filters of your conditioning. The ancient Egyptians, masters of sound technology, knew even more direct tools. The Hekau, the words of power, were not just magical spells. They were specific sound frequencies designed to resonate with different energy centers, chakras, in the body. Chanting these words was like using a sonic tuning fork to shatter crystals of blocked energy, releasing traumas and fears literally stored in the tissues of the body. They knew that emotional memory doesn't just reside in the brain, it lives in the entire cellular field, and that sound was the fastest way to access and clear it. Practices we now call alternative, like Reiki and acupuncture, operate under the same fundamental principle. They're not mystical. They work directly on the body's meridian system, the invisible channels through which life energy, chi or prana, flows. A trauma, a repressed emotion, or a limiting belief creates a knot or a blockage in that flow, like a dam in a river. Over time, this stagnant energy manifests as physical pain or illness. Reiki and acupuncture are methods for dissolving those knots and restoring the natural flow of life energy, allowing the body's innate intelligence to heal. Even something as simple as walking barefoot on the grass or sand, a practice known as grounding or earthing, is a powerful tuning tool. Your body builds up a positive electrical charge, positive ions from stress, electromagnetic pollution from phones and computers. The Earth's surface, on the other hand, has a natural negative charge. By placing your bare feet in direct contact with the ground, you create a circuit. Your body discharges the excess stress charge and absorbs free electrons from the Earth, which have a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effect. You literally recalibrate yourself with the planet's frequency. All of these are incredibly effective ways to cleanse, balance, and tune your energetic instrument. They remove static, clear blockages, and restore harmony to your vibrational field. Each one is a piece of the puzzle. a tool in your toolbox for mastering your own energy. They prepare the space, clear the channel, and tune the strings of your soul so you can play the highest music of your existence. But for the music to be truly divine, for the symphony of your life to reach its full potential, your physical instrument must be in the best condition possible. The quality of the violin affects the quality of the music, no matter how brilliant the violinist is. And your body, the temple that houses your consciousness, is no exception. The condition of your physical temple is the final factor that determines the clarity and power of the vibration you can sustain. The most divine music can't be played on a broken instrument. And your consciousness, no matter how elevated, will struggle to express its full potential through a body that is sick, exhausted, and toxic. Your physical body is not a disposable vehicle or a burden to bear. It's the sacred temple that houses your soul in this dimension. It's the altar upon which the alchemy of transformation takes place. Physical health and high vibration are not just connected, they are inseparable, two sides of the same coin. Treating your body with reverence is not vanity, it's a profound spiritual act. Regular physical exercise, for example, is much more than just strengthening muscles or burning calories. From an energetic perspective, vigorous movement works like a pump for your life force. It forces the prana or ki to circulate intensely through your meridians, breaking up small blockages and stagnations before they turn into bigger issues. Sweat releases not only physical toxins, but energetic ones as well. After a good workout, you don't just feel physically tired. You feel energetically cleansed, mentally clear. You've literally pumped new life into every cell. Likewise, conscious eating goes far beyond counting nutrients and calories. Every food you consume has a vibrational signature. Living, natural, organic foods, full of sunlight and nutrients from the earth, like fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, carry a high frequency. They literally feed you with light and vibrational information, raising the frequency of your cellular field. They are life creating more life inside you. Eating is not just a mechanical act. It's a choice about what frequency you're bringing into your temple. On the other hand, processed, dead foods filled with chemicals, refined sugar, and preservatives carry an extremely low and dense frequency. They are devoid of life force. Consuming them not only burdens your physical body, forcing it to spend massive energy on digestion and detox, but also literally weighs down your energetic field. They lower your vibration, make you lethargic, cloud your mind, and leave you emotionally unstable. You become what you eat, not just physically, but vibrationally. When you start treating your body like a sacred temple, something magical happens. You stop eating out of anxiety or habit and start asking yourself, will this nourish my temple? Will this raise my vibration? You stop seeing exercise as punishment and begin seeing it as an act of cleansing and celebration of your body. You start honoring the need for pure water, fresh air, and sunlight. You become the devoted guardian of your own altar. By doing this, you create the perfect container, the ideal internal environment to anchor and sustain the highest frequencies of the universe. A clean, energized body can handle much greater energy influxes without short-circuiting. It becomes a superconductor for consciousness. You prepare the temple with the utmost care and reverence, cleaning every corner, polishing the altar, and lighting the candles. In our modern culture, obsessed with relentless productivity and the glorification of being busy, rest is often seen as laziness, weakness, or wasted time. What a fatal and arrogant mistake. Rest is not a luxury. It is the most powerful process of healing, regeneration, and recalibration that exists for both the body and the soul. Deep sleep, in particular, is not a state of unconsciousness. It's a journey. It's the sacred period during which your soul partially disconnects from the density of the physical world and reconnects to the source to recharge, receive guidance, and integrate the day's experiences. While your consciousness travels, your physical body enters its deepest repair mode. It's during sleep that your cells regenerate, your tissues heal, your hormones balance, and your brain literally detoxes, clearing out residual proteins that accumulate during waking hours. Depriving yourself of sleep is one of the most violent acts you can commit against your temple. It's like trying to keep a car running without ever changing the oil or refueling the tank. Eventually, the engine just breaks down. Honoring sleep is honoring life, but rest goes beyond nighttime sleep. Conscious relaxation practices like mindfulness, meditation, or simply spending time in absolute silence in nature are not passive activities. They are intentional and powerful acts of self-care. They serve to calm your nervous system, pulling it out of the chronic fight-or-flight mode that most people live in. This constant stress state floods your body with hormones like cortisol, which in excess are toxic, suppress the immune system, and block the flow of vital energy. Imagine your energy as a river. Stress, worry, and mental exhaustion are like rocks, branches, and debris thrown into the river, creating dams and blocking its natural flow. The water becomes stagnant, murky, and lifeless. Rest and conscious relaxation are the process of clearing that debris. They allow the river of life to flow freely again, with strength and clarity, nourishing every landscape of your being. Without these moments of pause and silence, your inner river will inevitably dry up. In a world that constantly demands your attention and energy, choosing to rest is a revolutionary act. It's saying no to the external noise so you can hear the inner wisdom. It's disconnecting from the matrix of productivity to reconnect with your own soul. It's in those quiet moments that the deepest insights arrive. It's in the silence that you can finally hear the voice of your intuition, which is the direct communication of your higher consciousness. Rest is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of receptivity. With all these puzzle pieces aligning, transformation becomes inevitable. With the mind focused through awareness, with emotions integrated through shadow acceptance, with the body prepared as a sacred temple, and with the nervous system recalibrated through rest, you become a pure and powerful channel. The impossible begins to become possible. Miracles stop being rare events and become your new normal. You get closer to the peak of vibrational transformation. You are now standing at the threshold of supreme power. The instrument is tuned, the temple is clean, and the musician is present and aware. All that's missing is the final activation, the master key that connects your individual being directly to the source of all power in the universe. A vibrational technology so potent, yet so simple, it was revealed by the great masters as the final decree for the ascension of consciousness. Now that the temple is prepared, the instrument is tuned, and the awareness is present, you are ready for the master key. The final activation. Ascended Master Saint-Germain, one of the guardians of ancient wisdom, revealed one of the most potent and direct technologies for the instant elevation of frequency, the affirmation I am. These two words, when understood and used correctly, are the most powerful in the entire universe. They are a code, a password, a decree that activates the divine presence within you. When you declare with conviction and deep feeling I am, you are not describing yourself, your ego, or your personality. You are doing something far deeper. You are invoking the name of God. In all traditions, the name of the creative source is a variation of I am that I am. It is the declaration of pure existence, of primordial consciousness. When you use the words I am, You are claiming your divine heritage. You are declaring the same consciousness that created universes. The pure presence of being is here now as me. This is not a mental affirmation to make your ego feel good. It is a vibrational decree. When you affirm, I am the resurrection and the life, I am the light of the world, I am perfect health manifested now, you are commanding universal energy, which is intelligent and obedient, to take that form and quality in your experience. You stop asking and start declaring. You stop waiting and start commanding. You step into your rightful position as a co-creator with the Source, a son or daughter of the King with full power and authority. The vibration of I am reverberates in every atom of your being. It instantly aligns your energy with that of the creative source, the power that gave rise to everything that exists. It's like striking the fundamental note from which the entire symphony of the universe is composed. Whatever you place after the words I am becomes a direct command to the universal substance. If you say I am tired, I am sick, I am poor, you are using the most sacred power in the universe to create limitations in your life. The universal energy does not judge, it simply obeys your decree. That's why becoming aware of your inner dialogue is so crucial. How many times a day do you use the power of I am against yourself? From now on, treat these two words as sacred. Use them only to declare what you wish to manifest as your truth. I am the pure abundance of God flowing to me. I am divine intelligence guiding each of my steps. I am unconditional love filling every cell of my body. Feel the truth of these words as you speak them. Feel the power that pulses through them. We've reached the end of this transmission, but the true beginning of your journey. Raising your vibration is not a one-time event, a trick you learn, or a magic pill you take. It's a way of life. It's the conscious and deliberate integration of all these tools into the fabric of your daily life. It's a commitment to your own evolution. Every choice you make from this moment on becomes an act of creation. The thought you choose to nurture, the word you decide to speak, the emotion you allow yourself to feel, the food with which you consecrate your temple. Everything becomes part of your spiritual practice. You are no longer just investing in your physical health or your mental well-being. You're doing something much bigger. You are raising the overall frequency of your existence. And by doing so, you're not only transforming your own life. Your elevated vibration radiates from you like ripples in a lake, positively affecting every person, every animal, and every place you come in contact with. You become a beacon of light, an anchor point for a higher frequency on this planet, contributing to the symphony of an awakened humanity. If you made it this far, if every word resonated within you, know that it wasn't a coincidence. You're part of the group that was ready to hear. To prove to yourself and the universe that you've received the call, leave your mark in the comments by writing, "My vibration is changing." This channel exists to spread messages like this, to awaken those who are ready. If you feel the desire to help this mission grow in a more direct way, know that your contribution is what allows us to keep going. In the first pinned comment, you'll find a way to support us. Any help, no matter how small it may seem, is immensely important to me and to ensure this knowledge reaches more people. But understand, just the fact that you made it to the end is already a huge help. Your energy and your time are the most valuable gifts. If this content transformed you, the best way to give back is by sharing this video with someone you feel is also ready to awaken. And before you go, your journey doesn't have to stop here. I've prepared a special video for you, a piece of content that goes even deeper into what we've discussed and gives you the next practical step to apply this wisdom to your life. Don't leave just yet. The end screen is already appearing. Click the video and let's meet there. I'll see you on the other side.